Hi there, I'm Barb Owen of HowToGetCreative.com, and today I'm going to show you a new thing I got. It's not new in the world, but it's new to me, so I thought, oh, we'll just play around with it and we'll see what I think. Okay, these are the Faber-Castell paper stencils. They're actually a cardstock weight stencil. But I'm telling you, the cool part about these, Lindsey Wyrick, the Frugal crafter, is the person that introduced me to these. I'd seen them in the store, never paid any attention to them because I thought, I'll never use those. And I saw her use them when she was with me on my live stream on Friday doing a creative chat with me. And she was doing a journal page and she showed me, you know, she was playing with them and I'm like, using them in her journal and stuff. And I'm like, I never thought about doing those, and I thought, I've got to get some of those. So I did. And so I've not used them. I thought I'll use them today, and we'll see what I think. So these are the, I have two sets. This is set 101 and this set 301. Those are the only ones I had available to me locally. And you cannot beat the price. If you like stencils, like a lot of us do, you cannot beat the price. There are 10 stencils in each package for about $7. I mean, that is a steal, people. That is a steal. So in this package, we'll take a look at the designs that are available. This is set 101. So there's this one. And I don't know if these have names or not. Some of them, like this one, has a little bit that the die cutting didn't poke out, so no big deal. There's that one. There's a hexagon design, triangles, diamond grid pattern, a zigzag pattern. I love zigzags. I have to say, I don't know why. I do. I just do. I've forgotten what this design is called. Somebody will tell me, I'm sure. I have a plastic stencil of that. Circles, more circles. This is kind of like a circle grid. This one is like dots of different sizes. A herringbone design and diagonal lines. Okay, so those are the ones in set 101. They are cardstock weight. They are not plastic or mylar, so you're going to have to be a little careful with them. This is set 301, and these are words. So, design your life. This one is dream, written different directions. Dream. Words can be wonderful designs, just used like that. If you use this design going this direction and you didn't know that those were words, it's a great design. Yeah. Love life. Be awesome. That beautiful smile. Everybody needs one of those. Numbers. Letters. Beautiful. That's right, beautiful. And more letters. Hello, hola, bonjour, hola. Okay, we're getting Guten Tag. We're getting into languages I don't know, and big numbers. So that is the set from set 301. All right, so I thought we'd play with these a little bit and see what we think, because they are cardstock. They're not going to be. You can't use them like you can the plastic ones, as far as you can't abuse them, let's say that. And so this is my small dilutions journal. Let's see if I can find a spray that works, shall we? That will be good. Because that's one of the most obvious things. This is London Blue with some water. This is a dilutions spray, so let's see if it's going to cooperate with this. Okay, as expected, works great. Let's turn it over and see what we get when we print with it. Okay, so we got the print off of the stencil. Now you can see immediately, because it's paper, it's wanting to start curling. Oop, it's going to start curling up. And so I would then set this paper stencil aside and let this dry. I would not continue to use it. Okay, so a little more print off of that, and we'll call that good. So I'm going to set this one to the side. So of course spraying with them works great, but know that they're paper. Don't expect them to do things that they're not going to do, because they are paper. I'm going to weight my page a little bit here. Okay, so of course we can do spray with them. What else can we do then? Let's take another one and let's use some paint. So let me hit this a little heat here just to finish drying that spray. And as I said, this was a Dilutions London Blue that I had put water in with, so it's diluted. It's diluted Dilutions spray in a Dilutions journal. How much more delusional can I get, right? Okay, so I'm going to put this one down, and I'm going to use a distress paint. This is Twisted Citron. Let's shake it up. The distress paint you have to shake. You can hear the mixing ball. See if I can get it going here in my craft sheet. And I'm just going to use the dauber top. And I'm not going to do anything else with it. I'm just going to see what happens when I lift it up. So, all right, so let's see what it looks like. Not bad. Not bad at all. All right, so let's go to the other page and let's just print this off. So I've got quite a bit of paint left on here. Let's print it. It's one of the great things to do with a stencil is to use it as a stencil and then use it as a printing surface also. But now understand that as this becomes wet, you're going to have to be more careful with it, because it is a cardstock weight, and so it is going to become more vulnerable. Not bad. Okay, there's still some paint on here. I say not bad. Actually, what I really should say is that's cool. That's good. So let's see if we can get any more. Got a little bit more. Might be some more up here. Okay. All right. Now, this is still, because the distress paint takes a little bit longer to dry. And so I might set that aside and let it take a minute to dry. Craft paint's going to dry quicker. Let's hit this with a little bit of heat. And so that worked great. You could do the same thing using a makeup wedge and paint, of course. But we're just going to hit this with a little bit of heat just to get it to dry up a little bit for us. So that's good. So I like both of those effects. Easy peasy. Okay, some of this is pretty wet, so I'm just going to take a piece of cardstock and see if I can pull the rest of this wet stuff off. Yeah, so that way I can just so I can move on. I don't have to worry about drying the paint. Okay, so what else? Let's take another stencil from the same pack, and this time I'm going to try scraping some modeling cream. This is Viva Decor modeling cream. The color is gold red. And I'm just going to use a palette knife. So this is a thick, creamy bottle of goodness. Should not have on good clothes when I'm doing this. Just saying. Okay, so I've got some on there, and I'm just going to see how it works to pull it through the stencil. And I have to tell you that I am not, I don't care if it's a particularly great impression, so this is good for me. If you want very picky, precise stenciling, then you need to you need to work harder at it than I do. So same thing up here. Okay, these paper stencils work okay. Now I'm getting some color coming through because I slopped some of it through the back, which is all right with me. I don't mind. And let's put a little bit more down, let's say here. Not bad. Not bad at all, right? Okay, so I'm going to save the rest of this back into the container and put the lid back on. Viva Decor products, in my experience, tend to dry out. And so the more you can keep them sealed up, the better. That's been my experience. Okay, make sure that you clean off your palette knife. Probably better than I just did. Now, just because I want to see what happens, I'm going to get a baby wipe and I'm going to see if any of this will come off. So, again, realizing that this is paper. Okay, so you can get some stenciling that way. And cleaning off the stencil a little bit. Actually, the stuff that you leave on the stencil, the paints and creams and stuff that you leave on the stencil is actually going to thicken the paper a little bit, so makes sense not to worry about cleaning it off too much. But I just wanted to see what kind of effects I could get. Cool. So that's taking the modeling cream that was on there and just cleaning it, kind of cleaning it off, kind of getting some of the excess stuff off. Okay, that's cool. All right, how about, what else? We've got some, I've got some whipped spackle here. Let's see how this looks. Now, so you can see it, what I'm going to do, this is the Faber-Castell whipped spackle. So I'm going to take a little bit of this out of this container and put it on my craft sheet. And modeling creams, modeling paste, which this is kind of a modeling paste consistency, you need to use these up. Don't let them sit around forever because they tend to dry out. So don't let them sit forever. I'm going to add a little bit, just a little bit of pink into this, just so you guys can see this, and me too for that matter. So I'm just going to blend. And I only put just a tiny little bit of craft paint into this. There is a better palette knife for mixing paint, but this is the one I have here, so it's the one we're going to use. Okay, so I just wanted to tint that a little bit. And I don't care if it's evenly mixed, I just tinted it a little bit. So we're going to put this down here. And I'm probably going to do some smearing of these red dots. The modeling cream because it's not completely dry, but you know, let's turn the book a little bit. And let's just put the word dream on here and see how this works with using the whipped spackle through this stencil. Again, understand that I don't care that it's perfect. Perfection is highly overrated. Not bad, actually, not bad. I have to say that wasn't bad. Okay, how about if we put it on here again? I'm trying to keep the book, let me move this pile of stuff over here. I'm trying to keep the book out of it, and really it's just better to just move the pile of stuff. Okay. Maybe I got to get it where you guys can see it and where I can do it. Both. That's a challenge. All right. I don't know if I can get this to go across the seam of the book, the center of the book, but we'll give it a shot. Doesn't work, doesn't work. All right. The cardstock stencil is becoming more saturated with moisture. So we'll see what kind of stencil we get. Still not bad. It was crisper the first time. It's a little less crisp this time in this center part of the book where the spine is. I got a little thickness there, but you know, it's texture, people. It's texture. All right, let's put one more. I'm going to turn it upside down because I think it'll be easier to get to my book here. I turned upside down. We'll see if I can turn the stencil upside down. Let's use a different, a clean part of the stencil here. This is getting to be a little tricky doing it upside down, you know what I mean? All right, let's see if we can do it again. 3 times in a row, I don't know. Although I did choose a clean section of the stencil. And of course you could mask off these other words so that you wouldn't take the chance of getting something that you didn't want. Not too bad, people, not too bad. Alright, so we got it 3 times on there, and really it didn't do too badly at all. Alright, so now what I've got going on is I want to scrape all of this off this cardstock off the stencil as much as possible. Now, you're not going to be able to take these to the sink and wash them, so you want to get off as much as you can. And realize that the next time you come back to use this, you know, I'm not going to get this perfect impression because some of the little bits and pieces are going to be sticking to the edges of the stencil design, the cutouts and so forth. So, you know, I can see whether it has a disadvantage, but I can see also the advantage of the price is a great advantage. Okay, so I have all this whipped spackle on here, so I need to grab something. Let's just grab this piece of paper, piece of cardstock, and I'm just going to randomly grab another stencil and just put it on here, just so I don't waste it. And then I'll use this in some future something. Okay, and so that's just using up what was left over. So that's pretty good print too. All right, scraping off the excess. So actually using your modeling paste type products is probably better through a plastic stencil, something that you could really clean well. But hey, we had to try it, didn't we? I like it. I like what it looks like a lot in my journal page. Okay, let me get the whipped spackle off of my tool here and off the craft mat, so I don't have to work so hard later trying to get it off. And then we're going to see what these things do using just a couple quick prints on the jelly plate. Okay. Not too bad, not too bad. Because that's one of the places I can see that could really be fun is to use use those stencils with the jelly plate. Okay, I got most of the stuff off. All right, so here's what we've done so far. So I have to say that I really like what those stencils, you know, I can see that. And I didn't do anything with using a makeup sponge and, you know, dabbing through the stencil. Maybe we should do that. Maybe we should do that. Got all this wet stuff going on here, so we'll have to see if I can avoid the wet stuff. You think I can? So let's put a little bit of distress crayon, and then I'm going to use a makeup sponge. And just blend using a makeup wedge. Okay, that works. Works nicely. Let's do that again, maybe up here, just because. And there was no gesso or anything on this page before I started playing around on it, so it's just on the raw paper. That one's not so great, but you know, if you're working on background layers, which is what I would consider this, then again, I'm not really considering being picky about perfection. So I'm holding the stencil and I'm putting quite a bit of pressure with the sponge. Alright, now this, I got quite a bit of distress crayon there, so we're just gonna pretend that that's the way I meant for it to be. This is really more of what I was going for, but you know, you got the idea. Okay, alright. Somewhere my lid went rolling away. We'll find it later. Okay, what about using the gelatos? Let's do that. Let's pick another stencil. Let's use some gelato. So I'm just putting down some pigment, and then I'm going to use a makeup wedge and see how this works. Again, I'm using quite a bit of pressure, holding the stencil, using quite a bit of pressure. But the makeup wedge is dry. Works nicely. Okay, let's see if we can do that again in here. So just putting a little pigment, just rubbing down a little pigment. Now I'm just using what's left on my wedge and just dragging it around. Pretty cool, huh? And of course, let's do it. This is dry, so let's do one more. Let's see what happens if we try to go over a little bit of that. I don't know. Let's see. Let me switch to a different color blue just to do it. So also gelato. This is a metallic gelato. So the modeling cream has already dried, which is, it's very hot here today, so that probably encouraged it to dry more quickly. So we'll see if we can grab a little of that and put it over the distress crayon area and see what that looks like. Okay, not bad, not bad. All right, so I would have to give all those techniques so far thumbs up and say, you know, that worked okay. So, you know, I'm liking what it looks like. So that's all done with those paper stencils. And the whipped spackle is almost dry. I mean, it is all but dry. The modeling cream is dry. Both of those are very textural. So, yeah, so stuff goes on thin enough that it doesn't take it all day to dry. So that's pretty cool. All right, so let me switch to a jelly plate. Let's see how they work on the jelly plate. So I've got a 6x6 jelly plate here, and getting myself organized again, which of course takes a second. Takes a minute. All right. So let's get to it. So here's the jelly plate. And let's do just a couple of jelly plate pulls and we'll see what we think about the stencils on that. So I've got a couple colors of paint. We'll just go with this pink to start with. And I've just got craft paint. So I'm not going to put a ton on here. And I need a piece of cardstock here to clean off the brayer, so let's do that. Okay, so let's put this stencil on here and let's pull a print. See what it looks like. Not bad, not bad. All right. We'll pull the stencil off. I don't know that we're going to be able to get anything from the stencil. I doubt seriously, so because it's cardstock, I'm sure the paint's soaked right into it. So we're just going to let that be. Use a piece of deli wrap and see if we can pull this up. Nope, not so much because I didn't put down very much paint. So let's go to a different color. And put a different color on top of this. As I said, it's really hot and dry here at the moment, so things are drying very quickly. So let's see, let's put this stencil on here. See if we can pull up a little bit of the design through the windows. I'm going to pull it off. And let's see what we can get. Now my suspicion is the more times you use them on the jelly plate, the more that the paint, and that's a pretty cool print. So you can see you can keep layering them and layering them and layering them. Let's use another, let's use these two colors together and let's do one more print, one more pull. The more that you use the paints with the stencils, the more that they are going to thicken up. And I think that the stencils will become more substantial. So that's another thing that's kind of cool about using the paper stencils. Okay, what about, let's try using the numbers, and again I'm going to just pull up a little bit of the design through the stencil with deli wrap. Pull this off, and let's see, just for grins, if I can get anything to come off of this. Nope. It soaks into the paper very quickly, so you have to know that about it. So it's not like the plastic stencils, where the plastic stencils will let you take a print from the stencil. On these, when they're fresh and clean, they're not going to do that. And I didn't get anything off of that. So what I'm going to do is put another color of paint on it. See if I can put a contrast color. So let's go to a white. See if we can get it to pull up. So a little bit more paint. A lot of times when I'm doing jelly printing, my favorite things often are the papers that I'm cleaning off on. Alright, let's see what happens now. But I do like using the paper stencils with the jelly plate. It's kind of a fun, it's something different, you know, and it's nice to have different kinds of tools to use. There we go. So that pulled up nicely. Yeah, so that was great. Those are nice numbers. Cleaned off the jelly plate. Not much left to do to clean it up. Use a little bit of baby wipe, some hand sanitizer, clean it up, and you're done. You can, of course, keep printing as long as you want on that same print. The more you print, the more complex the designs become, and that's, I don't know, I just think that's really nice. That's cool. Okay, so we have done all different kinds of things with these paper stencils. And I'm just going to glance at my notes. Yeah, I did everything that I was going to try, that I was curious about, that I wanted to try out. So I would have to say that I like these paper stencils, and I'm really grateful to Lindsey from the Frugal Crafter. I'm really grateful that she used those the other day, because that was cool. You know, it was so cool to be able to see how she did it, and she encouraged me to get out there and try them. So thanks, Lindsey. All right, I'm looking for my mouse so I can stop this recording. Here it is. So anyway, thanks for joining me, and I will see you again next time.